The following show contains a fictional narrative that includes themes, events, and language that some may find distressing. Discretion is advised.
Welcome to This Line Isn't Secure. I'm Pat Sajak, and I always choose rock. Today we've got a fantastic show for you. Just tons of awesome new things as we enter the second chapter of Impossible Landscapes. So I am very happy to be joined by the wonderful Vanna White. Go ahead, Vanna.
Hi, I'm Vanna White. And I'm here playing... My name is Ty. That's Libby. I'm playing... He's the handler. I'm playing Reed Hollis.
Hey guys, I'm Charlie. I'll be playing Adam Blackburn, aka Agent Meridian.
Hey y'all, I'm Andy, and I am playing Dr. Alexander Shoemaker, Professor of Forensic Psychiatry over at Vanderbilt, and incessant rewriter of The World Without Doors.
And I'm Hawk. I'm playing Heather Stoddard, aka Agent Miranda, defrocked NSA crypto analyst and number botherer, here to answer everyone's questions if they ever possibly have one about math, the theater, or computers. So far, we're kind of on 0 for 3 out of those ones, but I'm sure my luck is going to turn around soon.
I'm glad Hawk brought up we do not do any frocks for this show. However, we do short recaps. We will be catching our agents 20 years after the events at the McAllister, when the building that they spent a good amount of time in against their will, or probably against their will if will exists, burned to the ground. Their lives have been tumultuous, ups, downs, as life is sometimes, but I'd say that by and large, they're kind of in the gutter. They will be finding themselves in a gutter together very soon. Cool. Nice.
Cool.
Editing Ty, can you put a picture of Pat Sajak down here and just people could compare the Sajak and then just so
We're sure going to get flagged on that, check. But fine.
Only if I get to superimpose a big busty avatar of Vanna White over myself. For the
I would have no other way.
What's the point otherwise, man?
We want it. Oh, sorry, we need it.
We need the whole bit. All of it. Just after receiving this FedEx envelope, each of you spends, I would imagine, a decent second or two, maybe 10, thinking and feeling and having a moment where you feel in time and space that you could be back there, back in the place where you didn't matter, back in the place where you didn't have power and the world was closing in faster and faster. This FedEx envelope feels like the fishing hook that has found its way back to you. And so, with some amount of disdain or fear or disgust, you each rip open the envelope in your own way, some angrier than others, I'm sure. Inside, there is a flowery, stationary invitation from the looks. It looks like there's an invite here to a birthday party for one Richard Zeleny, which is Zielony, at a place called the Gateway Bridges Restaurant in Boston, Massachusetts. There's a full address there and a phone number at the bottom you could call, or so it seems anyway, parentheses and 10 numbers and all that. The invite also mentions it's the 51st birthday of your friend, Richard Zeleny. But the thing that really catches your eye is the thing at the top of the invitation, which is a green triangle. It's a little bit faded, so it's not really, it fits. It fits well with the way that the stationery is older and decorative. But it's certainly the only thing on this page that has color, and much too much of a coincidence to be anything except an invitation to an operation. So as each of you stand there with this invite in your hand, looking at it, would you like to do any further examination before doing what you do next?
I would, but I'm not sure if I have the proper skill for it, because I do see like the lettering's all like squiggly and it's not sums up.
Okay. Yeah. You've definitely pointed out something that maybe I should have pointed out to our audio listeners. The way that it's written is kind of odd in that it's set weird. Some of the lines are longer and shorter, and they have these kind of weird angles. There's bits and pieces that seem to be kind of drawn weird, writing that's outside the words and squiggly patterns, and it just doesn't really look very right in certain ways. It does not look very much like what a human would write in certain areas. Would certainly pass if you weren't looking at it as closely and without your background in the Unnatural, or with the Cowboys or the program, whatever. So if you want to let me know what you're trying to discern, Blackburn, I can tell you what kind of check to make, or something else.
Probably like I'm seeing like the way the letters are forming and how almost looks like a pattern is made. So I was just wondering if it has any occult symbology or something.
Okay. So you want to see if anything here rings a bell in like the occult or any like research and occult study. Sure, that's fine. Yeah. You can you can go ahead and roll for that. Let us know what you got. We want to hear it.
68 over 40.
Yeah. I think it's less. It's not that you can't find anything. You find too many things. There are many, many things here that could be a rushed attempt at some kind of occultism. There are many things, from the way that the Z is written to the way that the little like flourishes in the stationery at the top are angled a certain way. All of it could be, but it's kind of a stretch, so it's tough for you. Nothing stands out, certainly.
Anybody got skills in calligraphy?
I don't know if like graphological analysis would fall under psychology, criminology, or any of the other usual skills. It might be like you need special training for it thing. That said, unless someone wants to get graphological with it, I would definitely like to just do the sort of whatever element of research I can do ahead of time on the names here, the name in particular of the individual and the hotel, see if I can dig up anything about them before I show up.
Okay, got it. We have not rolled very many dice in a while, so I wanted to get a luck roll from all of you.
Sure.
Okay. May I figure into that luck roll the weird little scribble that seems to be set off completely from the rest of the writing that's butted up against the right border of the invitation? You see what I'm talking about?
I do see it. Okay. Yes, I do. Yeah.
Because that is the part that makes me the most curious.
In that case, don't roll luck quite yet.
Okay.
Ty, why don't you, if you want to, what skill would you like to utilize? Because I mean, like, again, what are you trying to discern from that squiggle? You want to like see if that's something that is indicative of a certain psychological aspect, or indicative of.
If it's indicative of anything that I have encountered in my life, or particularly anything that I remember as a something parallel to something that I experienced in the night floors. I'm just looking for ties to like any connection I can make with that in my brain.
Why don't you roll in ×5 then?
Okay.
Charlie and Andy, I want to hear about your luck rolls.
35.
Oh, remind me what 100 gets you in this system?
Failure.
Pretty bad, not the good.
Oh, fair enough.
The paper cut is actually across a major vein, and you bleed out. Okay. It's been great, Hawkins.
Good.
Later days.
No, so I was actually thinking about also trying to match, because I have memorized the World Without Doors over the past 20 years and to see if any of the fonts, squiggles match any of the irregularities in that particular book or the images of or memories of any of the other plays or written material that we saw. But obviously his big thing is he has that copy of The World Without Doors and has read it a lot.
Why don't you roll forensics plus 20?
All right. So forensics plus 20 for me will be a 70, and I rolled a 46.
Nice. Great. And what did you roll, Ty? On the
84. Under, or over 70, rather.
Oh, okay. All right. So I think that what happens here, first, Reed and Heather, neither of you are really having any success in looking over this thing. Reed, you definitely dig deep and try to think of anything that you've ever experienced or heard or listened to, and nothing here really strikes you. I mean, it's weird as hell, right? But there's nothing here that you're like, oh man, I remember this thing. This is a very important thing. And Heather, the same is true for you. In fact, I think maybe even like you mentioned, Heather would be much less interested in the typography and all this different stuff, and more like, let me go Google these motherfuckers. So, yeah. So you head over, do that. So for Blackburn, as you are looking at the lettering, you catch on that there's like this odd kind of the loops and swirls kind of have this odd shake to them, as if somebody who was writing them was nervous or was not confident in writing. In fact, the way that the R in kind of like the fourth to last sentence in restaurant kind of connects to the S in street is a good example of how you're seeing. That's a pretty like prime example of kind of the things you're seeing on a smaller scale as well, in the loops of the M and the B or multiple B's and all that stuff. But more so, you actually, as you're looking closely, that you notice that there are certain letters that have this very, very small, almost transparent pencil mark above certain letters. And so you look through and you put all the letters down on a piece of paper from top to bottom, and they spell "help me."
Oh shit!
Knew there was some.
You have the revelation. That's a good revelation. And finally, going over to our good friend, the shoemaker. You notice as you're looking through that there is a top and a bottom. There are two sheets of paper here. And you realize that as you're kind of, I won't say fingering the paper, just so that we can avoid all
handling,
the adult maturity and all that stuff. But a lot like a lot like fingering the paper.
It's funny how you aren't going to say that, but you've now said
I will never say fingering on the show ever.
When you play, it's good to have that clear.
Yeah, we're all ready to do jokes about this.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Okay. At least I know my crew. As you look closer and articulate this with your fingers, you definitely see that there is two bits of paper here. And so as you see on the actual handout that I've given you, on the top left corner, there's what looks to be kind of a tearaway thing going on. It's not as pronounced, right, for what you're seeing in person, but it's so that the players can have a little
Top
idea.
Left, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you definitely realize that there are two things here. And from what I understand about your character at this point, I imagine you'd be quite interested in what's behind there, but would Shoemaker be ripping that, in half, so to speak?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very interested in paper now.
More than ever. All right. Andy, I will send you what is on the back of the handout, and if you have any questions for me, I'll let you send those to me privately as well. And so whenever you all meet up, you're more than welcome to share what's on the back of the invite. But for now, no one else will get to know. Okay. And I'll explain to our audio listeners once we get there.
So Shoemaker reads this note that's on the back and sees a symbol at the bottom right-hand corner. It's a really bizarre symbol with there's letters on the outside of it. I'd like to roll occult.
Great.
He failed his occult roll and has been banished to the nether realms.
Yeah.
We will get him back someday. Maybe. I'm not sure.
Here we are.
You've returned. How were the nether
I've
realms?
returned. Terrible.
Good.
As terrible as my occult roll. So, with how frustrating it is that he cannot figure out what this symbol is, he briefly sketches it on his notepad that he keeps on him at all times still from his FBI days, tears the symbol off of the letter, and consumes it.
Okay. As soon as you actually lock your eyeballs onto that weird sign symbol, whatever it is, a bird flies against your window and crashes into your window. You see a bunch of like brain matter and blood is kind of splattered over the window, and the bird just kind of falls down the window and off of your out of your sight into the bushes. Your windows are not clean. Your windows are very, very not clean, based on what I know about your character. So quite odd, quite non-normal.
Yeah, so Shoemaker will still tear that, after scribbling what that symbol looked like, we'll tear the corner off and just kind of pensively look at the window while gnawing on the symbol, wondering if any additional insight will come his way.
Libby dice roll. It tastes sweet.
I thought it might.
You were right. All right. After your investigations. Oh, sorry. My bad. Heather, you wanted to do some research really fast on the names here in the invite.
Yep.
Right.
Geloni, and then the name of the hotel as well. You know, I'm gonna dig into whatever I can find in public and private places online.
Yeah, gotcha. So yeah, you. I mean, you said hotel, but I assume you mean restaurant.
Restaurant,
the
yes, the Gateway
restaurant.
Bridges.
Yeah. All good. Okay, yeah. You don't know, no role required here. You are pretty easily able to Google. You can't find any, notable Richard Zelenies or at all. You do, as you Google, it does come up that Zeleny is the last. Zeleny is the Polish word for green. And so, but there's no notable human that's named that. I mean, there's actually a good amount of humans that are named that, but we're talking about, a large number of people.
I run the background check on them at a high level and don't find anything that says anything. And then the fact that Gelony means green implies to me that this is a summons to a meet rather than something more, more than that. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. You. Yes. You have nothing there. You do have, in looking up the Gateway Bridges restaurant, you do find that it's a one-story Mediterranean restaurant. You find the street address does match with the invite. It has been in the Dorchester neighborhood for around 1981 in Dorchester. It does have. Sorry, I love that I said Dorchester and Andy's head went not up and down. That made me happy. There is a couple of reviews actually on Yelp that I will send to you and in some part read aloud because I think that they are fun and I made them, so you all get to hear them. Damn it. From user E.Roths53, I've been coming here since the early 2000s. Food's always solid. Grilled Brazino is excellent. Chickpea salad has not changed in 20 years in a good way. He mentions that there's an odd stillness to this place, that the windows don't reflect properly after dark. He just kind of sums it up to being a weird trick of the old glass. Staff are polite, but it's never actually really loud. It always just kind of feels like it just is. And he's always forgetting something when he goes there. But yeah, hey, the flan, underrated, awesome. So the other mentions, another a 4-star review mentions it's fine. One of the staff called the birthday boy by name without us telling them his name, but we probably just forgot and put it in the phone call at some point, so it's no big deal. So yeah, apart from, and there's actually a good amount of reviews, and a lot of them are perfectly, it was good, so, but it's a decent place. It's got mostly favorable reviews. Quickly, you do see that you find the owner, whose name is Eduardo Diaz, early 50s man. Nothing really bad to be said about him, or the restaurant, to be clear.
Okay, cool. I wanted to search the Dorchester neighborhood and see if there are any retirement communities or health facilities in the area. Just do my groundwork there. And then I am going to probably try to check the Boston public records for like information about the lot, and if possible, I'm going to try and get access to the less public records for information about the lot and site and see if there's anything that stands out to me.
Sure. Yeah, you do. You find a place called the Dorchester House Psychiatric Facility that has been around for a hot minute. Let me grab the relevant info here. Uno momento.
No problem.
Yeah. So the door... Oh, that's not it at all. Why did they put the Dorchester House so far deep in the freak? There we go. Okie dokie. The Dorchester House... the Dorchester House, it was built at as a boys' school, or so it seems, very early 1900s. School closed middle of 1940-ish. The Catholic Church kind of just kept it around. Closed at one point, seems like maybe 60s, 70s, reopened again, early 70s. And at some point it was purchased by the Dallin Company, Dallan. Seems like it was, the Dallin Company purchased it. There was some kind of money that was provided from some kind of investor. Lots of renovations happened. And 1989 is when it opened up as a private hospital. The website now says that they specialize in psychotic behaviors stemming from PTSD. That's kind of their big, well-known thing they do. They do other work, obviously. Basically, that's basically what you're tracking. You do find the name of like the head doctor, which is Dr. Richard Dallin.
Great.
So.
I would like to illicitly infiltrate their whatever digital systems they have and take them for what they've got and just pull every record I could get my hands on. Like if they have something that's accessible through the internet, go through password leaks for employees, doctors, patients, see if I can find access to their system that way, and then see if I can get access to their record system and dig it out.
Okay. All right. Okay. Why don't you go ahead and roll computer science, please?
All right. It's the 21st century now. It's time for me to do things. That's my position. All right. My computers has gone up since last time, and I have rolled a 64 under 70.
All right. You have no problem infiltrating the very, very poor employee benefits software, or I guess, the data that exists on their kind of their employee side, so to speak.
No.
You have very, very little trouble. Someone's password is like welcome 1234, and you're just in. You find that there's really there is nothing to be seen. The facade here of the website is like pretty much all that exists. Not to say that it's like fake. It seems to be real. I mean, all these there are certainly real things going on here, and photographs that look pretty hard to fake and all that stuff. But more so that this site was built by somebody and probably hasn't been touched since it was built, except for necessary maintenance over the course of the years. So it really there's just not a lot here for you to see necessarily. You do find employee records, but they are just in the form of W-2s and W-4s and things of that nature that are tax documents. There is
Do I get access to leave records, who's taking leave at what times?
No.
Okay.
The only information that's here is their health insurance information, and then their tax documents also live here too, and their pay statements. So those.
Do I have access? Do I have access to who's making claims on the health insurance, or just who provides their health insurance at the moment?
No, just who provides it. Yeah, and the benefits. Yeah.
Oh, I got a plane to catch, so I can't just spend all day doing this shit. Otherwise, I would.
Yeah. Great. So after each of your examinations and deeper dives into your invites, you now all have to do the thing that you've done before, and probably a decent amount in these 20 years, which is pack for a trip that you don't know how long you'll be gone for. So you each begin each of your rituals, traditions, or quirks in the process. Packing your things, getting what you need before you go. And so let's talk very briefly about what makes Reed feel most happy and like he's ready to rumble when going on an operation.
Yeah, so Reed does not feel happy. Reed has spent the last 20 years racked by guilt, and as we saw last episode, definitely having that guilt, whether it be about his daughter or, another woman in his life that he has failed, or another woman in his life that he has failed. Reed has done a lot of failing the women in his life. Or the building that he set on fire. It's all manifesting in a pretty manic and psychotic way. But he's able to keep that at bay in his wake-a-day life most of the time. Reed is packing pretty light. He's no longer a marshal. He's packing a few sets of clothes. He figures, maybe 4 changes. He can do laundry. He no longer carries a firearm. And due to some issues with the law in Washington State, where he now lives, he is unable to even open carry. So yeah, Reed packs his stuff, and as he sits in the terminal at SeaTac, waiting for his flight, he pulls a small piece of paper out of his wallet and just unfolds it and stares at it, kind of rests it against his belly and sits just staring at that piece of paper as he waits for his flight. And as the camera kind of moves in on that piece of paper, you can see that the contents are Reed's handwritten recreation of the piece of paper that was handed to him on the top floor of the McAllister by a person that was about to plunge to their death.
Yeah, every time you look at it, it looks a little different, and you're not sure at this point if that's just you. The static is being added by your brain, or maybe you've taken too many drugs or inoculated rather, or both, I guess, while you're working for the marshals. That something's going on, physically with you, but nothing super easy to put a finger on. Just that whenever you look at it, you kind of get a very small little startle because it looks a little different, but then it becomes familiar again. Where's Reed flying from again?
Seattle Tacoma International Airport.
Yes. Yeah, so a pretty good couple of flights that you have to take to get over to Boston. But you make it there and make your way to the hotel. Would Reed get a car, or would Reed prefer to get a cab or ride the bus or train or something?
Reed is a shitty driver as a native New Yorker, and is very much used to cabs, and hates dealing with Ubers and gig economy based rideshare services. So, which are pretty new at the time, actually, not like super new, but new enough to where he doesn't like them, and they're not like ingrained enough in the zeitgeist yet for him to feel pressured to accept them. So he's like, yeah, I'll get a cab.
Sounds good. So Reed, you make it to your hotel very easily. The cab ride that you take is exactly what you wanted. It's quiet, space for you to brood and to seethe. You make your arrival at the Dorchester Inn and Suites, which is the closest place that you can find that looks somewhat decent for a hotel, but isn't too expensive. You walk in, and look right in front of you. You see, let's talk about Agent Blackburn. Agent Blackburn, what would you be packing, doing, taking with? What does his travel ritual look like?
Well, this would be another day at the office, technically. So Adam wouldn't have light clothes, so just a few changes, and he would have a set of weapons with him as well. Okay,
got it. You maybe even take some joy in packing, organization of it all, that it's all there and it's there.
Yeah, it's sort of like the mantra that he makes whenever he packs for another work trip.
Yeah.
That little ritual.
Yep. And I imagine that I've known a couple of folks in the military in my life, and I imagine Libby has, and I imagine that maybe he takes some solace in the fact that his tools won't usually fail him. His tools will always be there, and his tools are reliable, unlike humans. And so I think there's maybe some of that weaved in as well. So, yeah. Okay, great. You pack all your stuff, make it to the airport. You know exactly how TSA goes. You've done it many a time. So you pretty speedily and handily make your way through TSA. Your weapons are checked in the bottom of the plane. You get a little nod. Maybe you show your ID and you've got veteran status or something like that, and you show your ID, and everybody helps you out pretty nicely. Gets your bag taken care of, kind of front of line. Takes you all the way through TSA, and you fly as well. Where are you flying from again?
I think it's Idaho Falls region.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, you fly to you picked up in the helicopter. A helicopter comes to get you from your isolated cabin, takes you to the nearest regional airport in Idaho, and then you make your way to Boise and then over to Boston. It's I would say that I want to get a little impression of what Blackburn is feeling with this just airport packed full of people, even in Boise. It's a decent sized airport. It's not like
Yeah, it's stuffy. Although he tries to keep it cool, he is having some form of anxiety. Like he can't wait to get off this plane and into more clear areas. He feels very crammed up. When the hostess gives him a form of drink and a napkin to wipe his mouth, he keeps gripping the napkin so hard that the moisture from his hands is turning that into a completely damp. And by the time the plane ride is over, it's essentially like a wet Kleenex.
Okay. You put it in the trash bag offered by the flight attendant as you walk out, and it kind of hits the bag a little harder than she thought it would. Looks at you, and you walk out. You make your way to the hotel, the Dorchester Inn and Suites, and there you see a group of people. Talk to me about Shoemaker. What's Shoemaker doing? What's Shoemaker going to do on his travel? Well, before his travel, rather.
Yeah. So upon reading this and realizing what it is, Shoemaker is thrilled. He actually, as he's gnawing on this image that he found, he has felt stuck for 20 years. Delta Green has not utilized him for field work. They've only used him in the realm of being the so-called shopkeeper, who analyzes the risk that agents pose upon returning to normal society after operations. And so the idea that he might get unstuck, and he also firmly believes that there's an above 50% chance that he is still in the smoking room and he is still on the night floors. And so the idea is this might be me getting closer to the eye of the storm, or this might be me getting out of the storm entirely. And so when he realizes, oh, I get to go, haha, it actually kind of perks him up. Especially given the conversation he just had with Antoine. He needs something to be happy. And so Shoemaker is also no longer a Fed, and Massachusetts requires non-residents to apply for a temporary carry permit. And so he has no interest in bringing his gun. He is going to take the train. I'm imagining we have some time to get where we need to go, so that a day of travel is not a huge deal for him. Mm-hmm. Because he does take he still has, he carries tear gas, chemical agent with him that he gets from various law enforcement surplus stores. He still carries that with him. He'll also take his copy of World Without Doors to read one more time on the train. Along with, he's going to be doing a lot of research as he goes on his phone for all the names that are on the piece of paper that he read behind the invitation. And so he brings his notepad, he brings all that stuff, brings his tear gas, a few days of change of clothes. And as he's getting ready to board the train, he's texting his grad student, who is his student assistant, PhD student, Haley Greenwich, telling her that she may, that he's out on a consultation and that he'll be back probably in time for the first day of class. But if not, just go over the syllabus, they'll be fine.
Got it. And you brought up a very good point that I don't think I've mentioned yet. This invite that you have says you need to be there September 1st, 2015, and that the party begins at 8 p.m. Yeah, a good point that you brought up. The invite, if you were to flip it over, which you all did, there's something written on the rear face of that invite. It looks like it was written in the same hand as the front, is kind of spirally cursive. And it says that the to be there on September 1st at 8 p.m. for this birthday party. The day that you received the invite is August 28th.
2015.
That's right, 2015.
Right?
You have, 2015. You still have plenty of time to make the travel to get there.
So definitely train for
Yeah.
Shoemaker.
That sounds good. Yep, you make it there. Plenty of time. Make your way to, the train stops pretty near, actually, this little spot, this hotel that you've read about, know about, the Dorchester Inn and Suites. So as you approach, you make out the sign, or the figure rather, of some people that you haven't seen in a long time that are conversing in the lobby of this hotel room. And when you open the door, you hear somebody speaking, and it's the voice of Heather. What is Heather doing before travels, during travels?
Heather is loading up a pair of bags with a bunch of barely legal surveillance equipment. Then she is walking past Madison Square Park, I believe, one last time to take a look at the hotels around the edge, make sure she's got a good look at them. She's going to make sure that she has written down, not copied into one of the 3 phones she has in her bags, but actually physically written down, the phone numbers of all those hotels. Then she's going to leave cheap cameras and recording devices in the lobbies of those hotels. And then she's going to go get on the Acela, and, she's going to do some work on the way. Specifically, she's going to sort of make a list of things she wants to try and do to find out more about the Dorchester house, since it's in the area. And about every hour or so, she's going to call one of the hotels around Madison Square Park and just check to make sure. She's going to call and ask hey, do you have any rooms available? Oh, thank you. I need to hang up. And then she just hangs up. She just does that every once in a while just to feel a little bit better, make sure they're still there.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you do your little amount of work to make it seem like perhaps you are not going to a certain area or place, when who knows how helpful that actually is. But it makes you feel better. So that's all that matters.
Oh, she's not trying to dissuade other people. She is pathologically obsessed with the Broadalbin Hotel, and she has become fixated on checking in on these hotels. And if she can't do it in person, she figures if she starts to get the sort of panicky feeling she gets sometimes, she'll just give them a call, and that calms her down.
So yeah, you make your trip there, Heather. It's pretty uneventful, other than when you make it eventful by adding events, calling people and things. But you get to the hotel that you felt was the best it could be for this situation. And you make your way toward this lobby. There is this glass box almost that's happening, one of those lobbies where you can see inside very, very well. And in that lobby, you see that there are a group of people that are conversing and chatting and speaking there. And they look quite familiar to you. And I'm not sure if it's a moment of anxiety, a moment of happiness and safety, but all of you certainly have emotions, as all of you are walking and meeting again for the first time in, well, maybe the first time, for some less, some more, in 20 years. So yeah, you are all now in this lobby. The lobby is very, very what you'd expect it to be for a place that is city name Inn and Suites. It is perfectly reasonable, 3 stars to a T, clean, but no frills. There is breakfast. The breakfast is utterly average, and that it is exactly the cheapest you could pay for a decent experience. The order of when you arrive is unimportant to me, and really we all kind of chatted, and it doesn't really matter to me a whole lot. I think that we can just kind of say that you all are there. You all arrive around the same time, and so the interactions that follow, I'll leave that up to you.
Kind of Reed just standing in the lobby with his luggage, just looking frumpy as all hell, stubbly, a little paunchy, and seeing Shoemaker walk in, not looking much better for the wear, and remembering, obviously that their last interaction with each other was a pretty negative one, and Reed will just kind of be like, making eye contact and searching his eyes for where his feelings stand about him this many years later as he approaches him.
And so Shoemaker, now fully merchant, steps into the lobby and sees Millstone standing there, and his eyebrows lift just a little bit. Surprise, but not an unpleasant one. And still dressed in expensive clothes that even as a professor he shouldn't be able to afford. But his eyes are tireder. They're sunken in a little bit. His hair is not perfectly coiffed as it once was. It's kind of Nutty Professor-esque. Glasses rest at the end of his nose. And barely breaking a pause, Merchant walks up to Millstone and puts out his hand and says, It's been a minute, Millstone.
All right. Millstone kind of moves past the hand and brings him in for a hug.
He does the couple pats.
How you doing, old buddy?
I am well. I hope you are well.
Go ahead and mark on your sheet that you've each gained 5 cute points. Keep going.
Aw.
Mm-hmm.
Where is that?
It's at the bottom. I made it up.
Does that translate to sand? Is that what I heard?
Right under its
Hell
Holtz.
no, player. No way.
Yeah.
Just try.
I think Reed's response to, hope you're doing well is just kind of like a brief kind of micro configuration of his eyes and his face that communicates, I can see that you're not doing well as you were telling me, and you can see that by how I look and probably how I'm coming off right now. The same is true for me, but in this moment, we can smile and pretend that that's not the case.
Miranda, she's gone gray-haired, she's still like very small, petite, is dragging a pair of large rolling suitcases behind her, one of which has a duffel on top of it additionally. She pulls up, leaves them out front of the glass and opens the door and pokes her in and goes, Is Meridian on the call sheet too, or is it the three of us? It's good to see you both. I was gonna grab a cigarette before I check into the room. Anyone want to join me?
Yeah.
She wants to not be standing near the hotel worker when she talks to them.
Yes.
She doesn't really smoke. So this is an utter fabrication to move out of this area away from people. Once outside, she goes, So you two still working? Still dancing the little dance?
I haven't exactly. No. I've been doing my other gig. I've been. I just assess now. I haven't been out in the field since the fire.
Got it. Mill?
I'm retired now. I pretty much keep to myself. I'm not a whole lot going on. Just running down that pension.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, they have me installing bloatware into financial security, financial software for a bunch of banks. Other than that, they haven't been pushing me around much. So,
productive
kind of
member
figured
of society.
Pardon?
So you're a productive member of society then.
I mean, same old, same old. They just asked me to use the contracting gig I used to help Dad out to slip in a little bit extra every once in a while. So, I don't know. Pays the bill and it keeps me from wandering around hallways I'd rather not be in, I guess. Do you
Or perhaps
know anything
we still
about...
are.
Maybe. Do you know anything about who's called us in? All I got was a letter, so...
Yeah.
A
a letter with the 2 parts to it. Did you get 2 parts?
I only noticed the one. It was one of those fancy stationery applique things.
Mm-hmm.
So,
the time was on the back. Is that what you mean?
No. Do you have yours?
Yeah. I'm not gonna pull it out right here.
I shredded it. And
Okay.
despite the
Damn it, Libby!
So,
Don't look at me like that.
There was two pieces of paper. They were put together, and if you took it apart, there was a lot of names, a lot of places.
Familiar names?
Let's see. There was a D. Lloyd, who was described as going to Switzerland. There at a certain address, and then he goes to Turin and Rome, and he meets up with someone named Colonel Perry, and they go to Greece. And then there's an address where they can be reached. And then there was an expectation that they would meet up with a party. Charles Fuller, Dr. L. McQuaid, and Robert Unger Esquire. Yeah, for reasons he'd prefer not to discuss, he only has a typewritten copy of it. The original is less accessible at the moment.
Okay, got it.
He ate it.
Yes, he ate it.
Not ringing any bells, but I can do a multi-party search and see if we can dig anything up about those names. A little bit old-timey, Esquire, Colonel, who knows?
Anybody have any forensics? Rephrase. Forensic scores, starting with Ty, ending with Hawk as usual. Ty?
30%.
Charlie?
0.
Andy?
50.
Oh, great. Okay, great. Got it. Fantastic. For our audio listeners, Hawk had the big old goose egg. Great. In that case, I will actually send you more information, Andy, privately. And you may choose to you have the power of the undo button on the remote control if you want to take back anything that you said based on what I send you right meow. I've sent Andy a dastardly paragraph to read, so forgive us a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Forgive us as we read. Great. And wow, Andy is an unbelievably speedy reader. Do you want to change anything you said based on that information?
Yeah, it's nonsense though. It's the names, it's so I would do this when investigating cases back in the day, back when I still did that kind of thing, and we'd make someone write out a bunch of nonsense, and we wanted to analyze their handwriting to see if it matched. So you kind of the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog, covers all the letters. It's like that. And so quick question, does it match? Does the handwriting then match the handwriting that's on the main document? But it's written in a different hand. And so somewhere in this gibberish might be a code, but it's probably something for handwriting analysis.
Gotcha.
So I don't know if the names are going to help us.
Is it also a pangram? Sorry, pangram's the thing you described, quick brown fox. That's a pangram. It contains all the letters in the alphabet.
It does. It in a roundabout way. Not as efficient as that sentence, but it covers all the letters.
Doesn't need to be. And there's, especially if you're using a script with ligatures, I can assume that there's some benefit to having them reordered in different ways. Not important. Sorry.
Yeah, it's too bad the original is difficult to find. I don't know if I'll be able to match the signatures, the handwriting, to anything else we find, but it doesn't match the invitation that you all read. But if you have your original, maybe we could get more information.
Destroyed. Sorry.
Ed, Miranda, how are you?
Oh, I'm taking care of myself.
Well?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, good.
Did you guys notice the house is nearby?
At that
did
moment,
they have fun?
Adam
Did they have fun
Blackburn
light
walks
pictures?
up to the no, too good of a theatrical pause. I got to take that opportunity. Blackburn, you walk up, you see that there are people that you have seen before, the crew that was with you at the McAllister. They are now all three are standing outside. I imagine that Miranda has a cigarette in her hand that's unlit. And that both Reed and it sounds like Shoemaker are taking pleasure in the nicotines. Would you like to divert and go over there or check in first, or I guess checking in first takes away that thematic pause that I really wanted to utilize. But if you need to, I'll let you have a check in.
I'll probably be walking out of the hotel at that moment after checking out,
or in or out. Sorry.
I'll be walking out of the hotel.
Oh, I see. You okay? Cool. You checking out as in like I paid my money. Gotcha. You checked into the hotel, paid your money. I got you.
Yeah.
Nice words. All right.
Yes.
You head out. You see these people smoking.
Well, shit. If I
Mary?
Yeah.
Mr. Mr. Meridian.
Yes.
You here for me this time?
Not yet.
Well, then it's good to see you.
Likewise. Miranda, Millstone. Always a pleasure.
How's it going, buddy? Yeah.
So, who we helping today?
Same as always. Everybody, probably.
I mean, I really doubt that the structure is the same as it was back then, so God knows who we're dealing with now.
May have everything to do with what we did, may have nothing to do with our last time being together.
I would suppose that for reasons of both practical organization and drama, there's no way the four of us get brought together unless it's related to that.
Yeah.
If you accept the principle
Makes for a better story.
Yeah. If you accept the principle that we're operating within a play, the four of us show up because it's related to that. If you accept the principle that we're operating under a well-organized organization, they bring the four of us together. Two of whom, it sounds like, have not engaged in fieldwork of any kind, and the other two have been on, I don't know about Meridian, but I've been on what I would call light duty. They only bring us together if we have something in common. And last time, I don't know what that thing was, but now I do, and it's this. So yeah, we're here for that. Unless they specifically need 4 relatively burnt out and disposable people, one of whom knows a lot of math, who are gifted in the arts of physical communication, and the fourth is a psychologist. I can't imagine what specific problem lines up with that. So I would assume, yeah.
The word expendable hits the air hard as you take a quick moment to reel.
That's one hell of an intermission. 20 years.
Not to the audience. It's, 15 minutes for them? They don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Our time's not their time.
Still, good to see you all. It's been a hell of an intermission.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go freshen up before dinner at this restaurant. Apparently, it's a little bit of a weird place itself. I recommend poking around Yelp if you haven't already. Food's supposed to be good, though, so we got that to look forward to.
Yelp?
Yeah, it's a website.
I'm not familiar.
They do business reviews. They're very insecure and easily gamed if you wanted to manipulate them, but there's a couple reviews on there where people talk the food and service way up, but also mention some indicators that the place is not entirely normal. Strange reflections in glass, people knowing things before they're told, that sort of thing.
Oh, good.
Gotcha.
Good.
Yeah, fitting mise-en-scène for our exciting next chapter, I guess. Like I said, I'm going to freshen up.
Yeah,
Kinda like
can't wait to
Foursquare.
see what happened next.
Same. Foursquare. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Gotcha.
Yeah, if
I
you go to
still don't know
MapQuest,
what
they
that
usually
is.
advertise on MapQuest. You can find them there. So, Yelp. Okay. Sorry, was Blackburn going to say something?
Yeah, I still don't know what MapQuest or Foursquare is.
Okay. Good. Very good. You all separate and, I won't say separate. Maybe you spend some more time chatting or whatever, but at some point you'll go get ready.
Oh, no, Miranda is out. She can't
Okay.
handle more of this conversation.
Okay.
She's going to go call a hotel just to soothe herself, and then she's going to take a shower, and she's going to dress for the restaurant.
Got it. Dress for the restaurant. Briefly, I guess I'm most interested probably in weapons, but what are the notable items that you are bringing with you to the restaurant? And we'll say for time, maybe about 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Your meeting is, 4 or 5 hours-ish away from now. So if you really, really needed to go to, find a Walmart or a Target, you could grab some stuff, maybe even a gun store if you wanted to. So we'll start with Reed, as always. Anything that Reed's specially taking with him for this meeting, birthday party?
No. Reed, like I said, came unarmed. He is, as is Miranda, very much under the impression that there's no way he wasn't brought back to deal with something to which weapons are completely ineffective. So especially for this first just initial meeting, he's not too concerned about it. What's going to happen is going to happen. Goes up to his room, looks up the restaurant on Foursquare, and gets dressed in, he tucks in like a dress shirt into some slacks. He's got his cell phone on a holster on his belt, like a suit jacket, and he's chilling. Maybe he sits back and watches some TV.
Moving next to Charlie. What about Blackburn? What's Meridian packing?
Meridian would have still his Glock 17 in a holster in the side of his jacket. Kevlar vest. I mean, it's a slim fit, so I guess. And bayonet knife in his boot still.
Okay.
Like, definitely not packing the rest of the equipment. That'd be way too noticed.
Sure. Yeah. For those gun nuts among our listening group, which I'm sure there are many, You certainly, the full-size Glock 17 is not something super easy to conceal. It's meant to be an outside the waistband, like, police would carry as a duty weapon. However, you're a pretty big human, and you're wearing, I think, a decent amount of clothing, even though it's August, because even if it's a slim fit Kevlar, it's like soft vest, it's definitely going to be visible if you're just wearing a t-shirt. So you're wearing like maybe like a flannel or some other kind of something that's over, so it's a little less noticeable, and that also helps conceal your larger than normal firearm.
It's considered a medium pistol, so
average. I know, it's all good. Average size. That's not funny. Next is Andy. Andy, what's Merchant gonna bring special to dinner?
Merchant is going to take with him one Polaroid of a constantly shifting symbol, because he never leaves home without it. One keychain, single-use tear gas, and one canister of chemical agent that he stores inside his blazer pocket. He definitely does the blazer with patches look, but he manages to still make it look expensive. And even though he's disheveled as all get out, he will try to sleep, unsuccessfully, and then he'll get up and check to see classroom roster stuff, all the stuff he's supposed to be doing as a professor.
Okay, got it. Great. Last but not least, what's Miranda bringing to dinner?
Miranda's wearing a dress with a blazer over it. The blazer is 5 to 10 years out of date. Maybe a little shoulder paddy. I don't think early 2000s they would have had much in the way of shoulder pads anyway, but it definitely looks a little bit out of date. She has a medium-sized purse with her. In the bottom of that purse, underneath a false bottom, are a collection of USB sticks and other digital media that contain a variety of, again, technically legal software. And then inside the purse, in addition to her normal stuff, she has a small nail kit, which rather than containing normal nail files and clippers, contains like small versions of wire cutters and other such tools, a small screwdriver, stuff that is like not, again, illegal, but is definitely curious and circumspect. There's no weaponry, nothing like that. She has a pair of burner phones as well, but no smartphone or smart device. I don't know what generation of iPhone we're on in 2015, but I'm sure they've already started to plague society.
Neat. Okay.
Definitely.
So the only human armed with a deadly quote-unquote weapon, multiple rather, is Meridian.
Human.
Yeah. And then the older, the other, Merchant, do have like a less lethal in the form of like kind of tear gas type, right? But okay, got it. Yeah. So as you all finish your packing and your getting of things together to go to dinner, I guess actually real fast, one more thing. Andy, you mentioned that while on the train, you looked into the names that were in that bit on the back, or that like hidden layer of the invite. Knowing what you know now about it kind of being what's known as a handwriting exemplar, would you have looked so intently? Because if so, I'm happy to talk about what you find, if anything.
Yeah, he's convinced of layers of meaning. So even though it's gibberish, it's probably not just gibberish.
Okay. Yeah. What's his alertness?
Alertness would be 63.
Okay. Yeah. So you look up the names, you find a bunch of other handwriting exemplars in kind of the course of your research, and you find that as you Google these names, the first search result is to what looks to be like a study paper, like a almost like a peer-reviewed study, but it's clearly like somebody put out a study and did very little research, and it wasn't that great on handwriting exemplars. Maybe like a failed master's kind of thing. It kind of seems like it cuts off in the middle. And so, seeing as how it is the first thing that comes up for different names, different searches, you definitely take a look at it and read through. The first time, you're reading it, it's just as I described to you, is very kind of dull, poorly written.
Maybe wouldn't have passed his class.
Yeah, probably. I mean, like it just stops abruptly in the middle. So yeah, he just didn't finish, or she didn't finish. However, when you read it the second time, you could swear that one of the lines in there has changed, and it doesn't really fit very well. So a line that was previously speaking about the way that that small s's loops are highly, very, very telling in a psychological profile of the person writing. Instead of that sentence being there, it says, she sang the names of those who sleep beneath the paint. They woke hungry. Yeah, so as you see this, you shake your head and blink your eyes, rub your face, and you look back, and the line is back to the way it should be. The line about
so that I
X's
don't
and loops.
So that I don't forget it, I bust out my little notebook and write it down, even trying to replicate the sense of the handwriting, and then I do it again and tear that one off and just put it in my pocket.
All of your packing lists situated. No fanny packs, which does earn all of you -1 Riz point. We cut the camera back over to Reed watching a spaghetti western, just about to leave. Sits up and grabs the hotel remote for the TV, turns the TV off, stands up and heads to the door. But Reed, as you put your hand on the doorknob, a feeling you felt before, behind you the TV clicks on, and it clicks on to the sound of harsh static. And as you look back, the screen, the visual is matching that sound. Do you want to do something here?
So, I mean, the door was right about to close behind me. I gonna hear that, catch it with my hand, sigh, just re-enter the room, acknowledge the clicker sitting on top of the bed, ignore it, walk over to the television, reach behind the armoire that it's sitting in, and unplug it.
Yeah, and as you reach behind there, you feel a sensation that you weren't expecting to feel. You touch fabric behind the armoire. So you kind of tilt your head to look and see what's behind there that you touched. And it looks like there's maybe a tablecloth or some kind of blanket that is this dusty, dark yellow color, and it's draped over the TV wires. Do you want to do anything other than push the cloth aside and unplug the television?
Seeing something strange back there is, I think he's already back in the headspace of that being a matter of course. He's going to grab it. He's going to fling it off to the side and onto the bed, unplug the television. Does the television turn off?
It does.
Okay. He's going to briefly regard the piece of fabric sitting on the bed. Is there anything immediately super strange, very grabbing that he notices about it on a quick glance at it?
Other than the fact that it's not there, nothing.
Reed sighs again, louder, older. He leaves the room, lets the door shut behind him, and heads out.
Great. You've all got your evening prepared, so I guess the next question is, who's driving, or are we driving separately? We didn't talk about vehicles earlier, so I'm open to hearing. Has anybody got a car big enough and wants to carpool? Not that you'll need a getaway ride or anything like that. I don't know why you'd think that.
Shoemaker never drives anymore, so he's very comfortable with ride sharing, Uber, and all that. So that's what he would instinctively think to do.
Don't know how to drive.
Reed's going for a cab. You know how I be.
Okay. We're cramming 4 middle-aged people into the back of a Boston cab in the middle of the day. Great. Yes, definitely.
Blackburn, you're with them, and we're doing the cab ride?
We can take 2 separate cabs. I wasn't implying that we should all go in the same cab.
We don't have a fucking expense account. Who's paying for a second? No, we're taking 1 cab. Don't be ridiculous.
Maybe
Get comfortable.
you upgrade the Uber or the Lyft to the XL Uber
Yes.
Lyft. And
Uber XL.
Yeah. Okay. How about that? We ride share. Someone who does that shit deals with that.
Yeah. It seems like Shoemaker.
Shoemaker would also never get just the regular Uber. Whatever the upgraded version was in 2015 is 100% what Shoemaker
He
has
gets
as default.
the black XL, dude.
Yeah, pretty much.
Can I ask a question out of character real quick? credit card debt 6 figures or just 5, Shoemaker?
Oh, not 7. Oh.
Yeah, it's at 5.
Okay,
no,
cool.
he still has a lot of credit card debt, but he does make good money as a professor. And so he's able to keep it pretty well managed.
On that, so sure, yeah.
Yeah. So he does pretty well. I mean, like the deep background is Centers for Forensic Psychiatry usually get good grants. At least they did until, a few months ago. But but they would get, because everyone used them. Like FBI agents who are forensic psychiatrists kind of went out of fashion. So everyone kind of just turns to universities. So yeah, they're loaded. He, as a professor who brings in business for them, is not doing terribly. He's probably making 6 figures himself.
So you, as per usual, get your Uber Black XL.
Mm-hmm.
And you make your way to the Gateway Bridges restaurant without a dirty thought in your mind.
What are you guys smiling about?
Nothing.
Uber BBC, awesome.
All right, dude. It was all so under the skin until you said that.
Even with the low frame rate, I could see Charlie shaking over there.
I was like, I gotta say it.
Okay, good. We are in fact human, folks. We are children. Okay. You're due to the variety of Uber that you decided to order, there is some measure of expected privacy in the back of the vehicle. So you have a little bit of room to discuss if you want to do some discussion on the way to the restaurant. So I'll allow that space now if you'd like to. Hell yeah. You ride in absolute silence. The sound of Boss Gags is tickling your ears as you pull into the Gateway Bridges restaurant. So as you pull up, you see this nice little one-story Mediterranean restaurant. It's tucked into the Dorchester neighborhood. It's got the beige stucco walls. It's got the red tile roof. And you're kind of getting the last lights of the evening about this time. There's a couple of metal iron tables that are outside. And you see warm, nice amber lights inside that are glowing. And there's a kind of a low hum coming from inside as you exit your Uber. General clink of silverware. It looks to be decently busy. I mean, it's not jam-packed. There's no waiting line, but, fairly busy. What time did you folks want to arrive there? Your meeting begins at 8 o'clock.
7:58.
8 o'clock? I don't know,
Okay. Okay. That sounds good. You arrive at 7:58. I will be a benevolent god and give you 2 whole minutes. Who's going in first? I'm curious about the marching order and the dynamic that the group is taking on now. Who is the face? Who's the talker?
Only in an Impossible Landscapes campaign do you have to establish marching order before walking into a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
A family-owned Mediterranean restaurant in Boston. Yeah, you got me. Yeah. What? Who's speaking for the group?
Shoemaker, can you hold us together enough to take care of the conversation?
Oh, 100%.
Great.
All right.
Works for me.
So he'll stride right in.
Great. You walk right in. There's a probably a high schooler who is behind the counter, and she says, asks how many, how many of you? Yeah, sure, I'll RP this high schooler. Hi, how many of you? A table or booth?
We're here with the Geloni party.
Oh, okay, yeah. She's like, is there going to be more of you, or just the 5?
As far as I know, just us. We travel together, but I don't know if anyone else is coming.
Okay. Well, there's already the nice man that arrived, so I don't know. But I'll bring you back there, and you can meet him. Is he
Great.
Mr. Gelani? Is he Richard, or one of you, Richard? Or we just do a
no.
song. We do a kind of a song. Oh, okay. Whatever he arrives, just let us know. We do like a song and
me and Dick go way back.
Oh.
Piece of advice for you: don't do the song thing.
Oh.
He's not a big fan of spectacle. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. No, we won't. We'll ex-nay that. I'll talk to the boss.
Thanks a whole lot.
But the free dessert though.
Yeah.
Don't want that. Yeah.
Okay. we can do that. No problem.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just, okay. She picks up the menus and grabs some silverware and walks you over to the kind of like a back party room, like a special room they've got for events. There's a sign there that says private party, Richard Zeleny birthday, and you see in there that there is a middle to older aged African American man. He is sitting with his back to the door, the entrance to the party room area. So you can kind of take a look at him before you arrive. He's wearing what appears to be like a little bit like a dress shirt, like a long sleeve dress shirt. He's got like a little vest over it, a gray vest over it. Little bit of graying in the hair, but it still seems to have a decent amount of. He's distinguished, but well distinguished, not unwell distinguished. She stops at the sign right by the door, and she says, "You can just choose your seats," and she gives you a menu as you walk in. I'll just bring waters. I'll come back over for your drink order in a couple of minutes, okay?
Great.
And she moves out. The African American man sitting there doesn't acknowledge that you're behind him or your presence, even though he certainly heard her say all the things she just said. Do you want to sit at the same table he's sitting at? Do you want to sit adjacent?
I'll walk right up to him, kind of arcing around. Not too close to him or anything, but just say, "I'm sorry, I didn't have time to pick up presents. Is this that kind of party?"
He just gestures for you to sit down. Doesn't respond.
Comply.
Same.
Call me Exeter. You're late. Doesn't matter. Just settle in. He's got a manila folder, slides it on the table to Merchant. He says, "You gonna take notes or just stand there or sit there and look stupid?" He
what do you need, boss?
Notices you take it. He's like, "Okay. Would you close that door?" He points to Blackburn. "Would you close those doors? I don't want him hearing us."
Sure.
After you close the doors, and just to be clear, are you all sitting at the table with him, or are some of you standing still?
Well, I'm grabbing a seat. I'm eating after this. I don't know if we're eating while we talk to him, but I'm eating here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Got it. I guess, Blackburn, are you sitting or are you standing?
Standing at the door.
Okay.
I mean, is it far from the table or?
No.
Okay.
I mean, like, no.
I'll be sitting at the door. Standing at the door.
Okay. He looks over his shoulder and looks at you and doesn't even really say anything else. He just comes back to Miranda, Millstone, and Merchant and starts to rattle off the details. This operation is called India Moon. You are tasked with locating former assets, operatives were once affiliated. These individuals have been under observation for some time. Long-term psychiatric care. He reaches into his little vest. I'm not sure if that puts Blackburn on edge, but you definitely can't see his hand, and it's inside his vest.
He will pay close attention to what is the next thing that's coming.
Okay. Maybe you start planning which chair you're going to throw at his head. Cool.
Yeah.
He reaches into his coat, and he grabs a crumpled up, or he reaches into his vest, grabs a crumpled up photo, and he puts it on the table, and he kind of does that thing where he points at it, and as if to say, "You must look at this now." Are you picking it up, Merchant?
Yeah, he'll just kind of slide it over to himself.
Okay.
Almost as soon as it hits the table.
Okay. You grab it and you take a look at it. Is there any reason that is? Well, no. I'm deciding whether or not I should give it just to you, but I think that if nothing else, everybody can at least probably see over your shoulder or see kind of little bits of it. So I'm sure you'll have to show them.
We're all
at that
sitting
point.
right there, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I went ahead and put that in handouts for you. The photo is what seems to be a couple of lines written on the wall of a room. So it looks. It looks like these lines were written. This text was written in a lot of human blood that's dried and covered with taped newspapers. The words there say, "Abigail Wright has gone to sea, crossed the waves to rescue me. In a ship both tall and fine, She rounds the corner, marking time. And now all of you get to make sanity rolls.
Exceptional. 63 over 53. Keeping up my strong tradition of failing sand rolls.
12.
59 at 59.
Yeah.
97 over 56.
Yes.
Phenomenal.
I mean, I'm just happy to not be alone.
Failures, you lose 1. Successes, you lose none.
That means I'm at 55.
Schwiggity
Fuck's
schwomp.
sake.
55.
Shubity.
Unreal. Unreal.
I had that song stuck in my head
People
this
come
morning.
here to listen to Delta Green and get an old school meme experience.
Hey, it's 2015.
It's everything your local millennial wants.
I'm not.
All right.
Don't put that shit on me. So yeah, you after you all look at the photograph, or I guess all minus Blackburn, he then says, "They all vanished 4 nights ago. All 5 of them vanished simultaneously." And at this point, he kind of leans back and looks to you. You take it to mean that he's like, he's ready for your questions now if you have them. Before he continues, like he's giving you a pause here.
What was the psychiatric facility these operatives were held in?
The Dorchester House Psychiatric Treatment Facility.
Sounds sensible.
Yeah. It
Also
was.
sounds familiar.
Are there any other questions before I continue? I've got more.
Are you
If we
clear
find-
in discussion of our
Yeah.
previous operation together?
Am I cleared? Yeah, I'm aware that you all operated together. I was not told why you were all selected again.
Well, there's 2
So
words
do you-
present in the message on that wall.
Hmm.
I won't say anything else. Sorry, Mel.
I mean, I'm just, you've laid this photo in front of us. Where was that taken? What's going on there?
That was on one of their walls.
Okay. And is that newsprint that I see behind it?
Yeah,
Was that covering the entirety of the wall?
I think so. Well, now is probably a good time for me to tell you that Dr. Dallin is a friendly. He's aware and he's waiting for you. He can fill in some of the blanks that I don't have the information of. I mean, I'm sure you'll be polite to him.
Oh, Meridian doesn't come in any other speed than polite.
He's really the face of the group. Do you have names or code names of the 4 individuals?
Yeah. He reaches into his other pocket and grabs out a scribbled list of names that I will send to you all in the chat and tell our listening audience right
So
meow.
Shoemaker will, as soon as he sees the list, he'll kind of just reach out and just kind of pluck it from him if he lets him. And in particular, he's looking to see if these names or code names are familiar. He wasn't often told, but has he ever assessed these people?
Yeah. You've never assessed. Well, so these are all from the look. These are all actual names of people. But
he wouldn't have been given those.
No, I doubt that. So the names are Stanley Harrison, Cal Diasa, Lila Mack, Kim Pleslad, and Toman F. Prutoth. And so I've provided those for you, spelling and all, in the handouts. All that's on this little list of is these names. Each of those people had contact with a book. It goes by many names, and you are not cleared for any of them.
How helpful.
Should you encounter a volume, note the title and the author, and do not read it. Don't study it. Don't speculate about it. Anything else.
If we find these individuals.
Where do you find them? I don't know. Find them.
I said if we find them, do we take them out? Do we bring them back? What do you want us to do with them?
We want to make sure that any information that they had is terminated. So, if you have to...
Yeah, I see what's going on here. So, we're the trash men for an operation like ours that went bad. As bad as it can go, right? Is that what's going on here? You know what we've done, correct? I'm sure you moved on it.
I know you had something to do with an arson in New York City about 20 years ago.
Maybe you don't know.
Whether I know or not isn't really that important, but I suppose if you have to kill them, then do that. They broke the rules and left the facility that the program put them in to live happily forever and ever, but they spoke out of turn, I guess you could say.
Fine.
He
what do you mean by that?
He doesn't respond. He reaches on the table and you see he's got like a very small little bag down there that's kind of between his legs. He grabs out this very large phone. It is I don't know. I'll send the picture for y'all, but for our listening audiences,
Oh yeah, the Zach Morris.
that is a big old chonky phone there. That is a cell phone of the early 2000s, I think. That is not a 2015 cell phone. They say it's very large.
The
Vice City.
first generation iPhone is 7 years old. This thing is chonker.
Yeah, it's a chonker.
This may have been
And-
from our first operation in 1995.
There you go. Yeah. He slides it across the table to you. He says, "You can use this to contact us. Dial *616. Don't speak only if necessary, and don't chatter. No calls to your family or friends. No backup unless you're bleeding out. So, this is a search, not a rescue. Find them. Tell us what they saw. But don't get too deep on it yourself. So,
I mean, it sounds like the information that you want neutralized would necessitate the neutralization of the targets of our search. So, I mean, if you're telling us to get rid of these people, just say it. We want clear orders.
It sounds like you're one of the... Look, I don't consider myself to be especially artistic or creative necessarily. But I even I could understand that there's gotta be other ways. I mean, the program put them in that Dorchester house, so the program has tried to keep them in a place where they won't hurt anyone or anything, but they've chosen to stray from the path. So if you can manage to get them back to somewhere where they can cause no problems, I suppose that would be fine.
Crystal
I'll get
clear. Thank you.
Anything else that I can help you with, or questions that I can answer?
Did these 4 individuals work together?
Five. There are 5.
Five. Yes. Did the 5 individuals work together?
That's not something you're cleared for, and frankly, the information that you're asking there is much more boring than you think. I can't tell anything else. You know how they get.
Yeah, I've assessed dozens of people coming back from operations. Do you know if I've met them? If I met any of them? Have they ever gone to see the shopkeeper?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. No. Who has the highest alertness? I'm sorry. Sorry to break
Me.
that character
80.
so rough.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Got
63.
it. Meridian, as you're standing in the room, you get a very strong smell of strong to you. Very strong smell of like gas or oil, or maybe like the general smell of a laborer of construction is kind of coming from Exeter. Yeah, you also notice that as he's shifting in his seat a little bit uncomfortably. I mean, he's phenomenally socially awkward, but as he's shifting in his seat, you hear the sound of something crinkling in his pocket, his back pocket. He says, we have not notified the police of their missing. We would prefer that be the way that things are kept. I mean, sounds like all of you at least have at one point covered something up, so I'll leave that to you in its majority.
We're
He also
professionals,
hands-
Mr. Exeter.
He doesn't respond to that for sure. He hands you a card that has Dr. Dallon's name on it. It's now a photo for the players and handouts, and for our audio listeners, it a fairly, I don't know, chintzy, not nice, very plain business card for one Dr. Richard F. Dallon, the director at the Dorchester House Psychiatric Facility. The address below, and then there's a small quote that says, "Sometimes things become possible if we want them bad enough." A nice email address for help, a telephone number, and a fax number. Exeter says,
He's expecting you. Yeah. Anything else? Anything else that I can help
Yeah.
with?
What's that smell, Pop?
Maybe the moussaka.
Never mind.
Yeah, okay.
he stands up. Everything about his awkward demeanor transfers to the way he stands. He's got kind of this very, very pronounced gooseneck thing going on, and he kind of looks awkwardly at the table. And as he steps up and walks a little bit around the table, he says,
Just make sure that you don't fuck this up. There's no understudy.
and he starts to walk to the door, the double doors, to the room that you're in. He grabs one handle and he says,
Hi.
opens up the door and starts walking out.
So, one question quickly, just out of the
Yeah.
space, is the crinkly sound. Would that have been adequately covered by the card that he gave us, or should I believe he also has one more thing on him?
Oh no, he has something else on him. And, yeah, something else is definitely on him. He stands up, and when he stands up, he crinkles.
Is there
some more.
anything else? Is there anything else understudy? Is there anything else?
He locks eyes with you, and he's like,
No.
70 humans. Do you want me to roll, or
yeah, go ahead and roll.
19 under 70?
He steps back a couple of steps. It's very, very, very hard to tell if it were not you, who is, I think 80 is like masters. I don't know. You're very, very good at this shit. Still hard to tell. He's just very socially awkward, so it's a pretty good smokescreen. But he's probably lying to you, which is further backed by he steps back a couple of feet and kind of puts his hand on a table to kind of rest himself. And when he does, he puts his hand on what was, I guess, a stack of napkins that were being folded by the staff. Knocks a bunch of napkins all over the floor, and apologizes, and is looking around. Kind of looks back at you all like, "What the fuck now?" And says like, "I'm sorry. I just did what I was told." And he begins to now run out of the restaurant. Not like sprint, but he's like embarrassed from the looks. Do any of you want to do anything else?
Shoemaker will look directly at Meridian and say, "He's lying."
I know.
And then I'll scan the napkins to see if he used the opportunity to drop something for us, or if that was truly just a mistake.
You're gonna go up and help them pick up the napkins?
Yeah, and in so doing, kind of scan to see if he dropped something for us.
Yeah. So you go and help pick up the napkins. Say, "Oh, hey, I'm so sorry for that guy. He was our friend, whatever." And as you're picking up napkins, you're horrified to realize that the napkin that you have on you is the exact same one from here, the one that says GBR in gold text.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and roll sand.
Oh, shit.
94.
Yeah, did not make that connection at all. That's great.
You lose one sand from the old helplessness there, and so the restaurant is kind of emptied out. You're not sure how long this conversation took. As a matter of fact, you kind of look out and there's a good amount less people there than there was earlier when you arrived. But the whole staff is kind of gathered and they're folding napkins ready for next service, since they're kind of winding down their busy hour. And so you see that there's a man here who looks a little more portly, and for sure Heather, and probably I would assume that probably Shoemaker has also looked up the owner of this place. It looked up something about the restaurant, and the owner's here. The owner's sitting at the table. He's all helping fold napkins. He's kind of portly, wearing a crappy tie, 50s. His name is Eduardo Diaz, which you saw online, and he of course is helping clean shit up too. If you wanted to ask him a question, he's here. Is my point. Yeah.
So stepping out of it, the napkin I have with GBR on it. Remind me the significance. What else is on that napkin?
Is that napkin that something else? Was that shown to other people at the time when we found that napkin? I don't think.
Oh, the napkin. Wait, the napkin with the thing that I've. No.
Yes. Yeah.
No, I was afraid that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was not something. That was not something the group would know about.
I didn't think so. Yeah. So for our audio and video watchers, listeners, the story here is there's a through line that Andy's character has dealt with in reference to these napkins. They were supposed to be quote unquote found in Abby's room at the McAllister, but surprisingly,
I did not tell the group about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for those who remember the last episode, that is, the napkins had a design on them that I have modeled my typewriter after in rewriting copies of The World Without Doors. So, appropriately horrifying. At that, then Shoemaker will actually not be in a spot where he can talk to the owner. He's going to make the realization and stuff one of the napkins in his pocket, and he's just kind of shaking on the ground trying to fumble the rest of the napkins into a pile.
Cool. To just set the scene really fast, because I think that a lot has happened. It's all very awkward. Your handler gave you the briefing, which was odd, scattered, but you think you've got kind of an idea, I hope, of what you're being asked to do. He then exited very awkwardly, as with his entire interaction, and said some weird things, knocked over a bunch of napkins. Now Merchant is on the floor. After trying to help clean them up, Merchant's kind of on the floor in kind of a pile, maybe maintaining the very thinnest of public-facing facades, but clearly is not doing super hot, as the kids say. Seems like Exeter has left. Seems like Exeter, ran out and is gone now. Might be, who knows, right? But went outside. And the three of you are all kind of still in this party room. So what will you be doing?
I think Reed sees the look on Merchant's face, says, "I need a smoke," and heads outside. And he's going to kind of long strides out the front door to ostensibly smoke a cigarette, but he wants to see if Exeter's still around.
Miranda speaks up and says, "Merchant, can you keep an eye on Mel?"
Yeah. Just drops all the napkins he's working with, except for the one in his pocket, and I could use a smoke too.
Good. Meridian, I'm going to check with the owner, just make sure that everything's copacetic, and then, I don't know, I still need to eat, but it seems like probably to go is better, yeah?
Yeah.
Let's order stuffed grape leaves. I love stuffed grape leaves.
Oh,
you got it, Merch.
Damn. Okay, so you go outside, Merchant, with Millstone. Millstone, you go outside, and as you do, the typical movie/video game trope happens, where when you step outside onto the sidewalk, a car nearly hits you, flying very fast out of the parking lot. It's a maybe late 2000s Ford Escape that has almost hit you and peels out, and you think that it's probably Exeter in the vehicle because no one else has really exited since Exeter did.
He's doing his job well then.
In a fitting car, also.
Right, that's
Mm-hmm.
right. Yeah, right. I know. Do you think Reed would try to gather information about the vehicle quickly?
Reed's immediately gonna just martial training immediately, flooding back. He's going to take a mental picture. He's just of the license plate.
Okay. I don't know about mental picture, dog, but I will say that you definitely recognize a few of the symbols, and that it is a Massachusetts plate. There's some kind of sticker that is fairly large symbol in the back, or like on the window, on the back window of his vehicle. It looks like it's a bright orange rectangle that's pretty big, and it's got some kind of numbers or letters on it or something like that. It looks like it's probably a parking pass of some variety. So you can write down that you've got a couple of characters from the license plate, that it was a Massachusetts plate, and then a large rectangular orange membership parking pass license.
All right. He peeled out so fast I couldn't catch the license plate.
I tell you what, I'll give you. Yeah, I'll.
He literally almost hit me.
I will give you 4 of those characters. But I mean, like, even with 3, I'm pretty sure you looking for that vehicle would probably be pretty easy to find him. I mean, it's also gray, so it's a gray, late 2000s Ford Escape with 3 characters. Okay. I think you'll be good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess Merchant, you stumble out. Well, I don't know. Do you stumble out? Do you walk out?
Yeah, he's not walking terribly straight. He's looking forward to the cigarette to calm him down a little.
Miranda and Meridian, you're inside. What are the two of you doing before you exit?
I'm finishing my gyro, man.
Okay. Sounds good.
You can't kill people on an empty stomach.
Yeah, you can, as a matter of fact, but I get it,
It's rough. It's rough.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, you order and devour that delicious food.
Yeah.
But quickly, I assume, right, like there's actively yeah, okay. You devour it quickly. Miranda, and you.
I put an order for food to go, and then I walk over to the owner, and I just make small talk and see if he seems to have an indication that he knows us or Exeter, and if not, I wish him a good day once the food is ready and I head out.
Yeah, he gives you some pretty basic, seems like a nice family guy, gives you basic information. The restaurant started in 1981. He's been running it, and he's going to pass it to his kids soon. All the happy shit.
Oh, lovely. Awesome. Well, the food was great. We hope to drop in while we're in town again. So I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Mm-hmm.
She waits. She gathers up the bags of food, and as she is walking out, she makes sure Meridian is with her. She steps out perfectly as composed as she feels she can manage, and she looks around for Merchant and Millstone.
Yeah, they. I guess they're probably deep into cigarette 2, verging on 3 at this point. Are you two sitting alone or talking, or sorry, are you sitting alone? Someone's around you. Are you sitting quietly, or are you speaking to each other for this extended cigarette break?
So
I would. Well, I mean, I would have handed him a cigarette, lit him up, and airing my suspicions about Exeter. There's something not right about that guy.
You got the captive audience of broken merchants smoking a cigarette. I'm in. I want to hear all about this.
He was lying. There's more. I don't understand. They keep doing this. They don't give all the information we need. Like the books. We've who knows? We may have encountered this book. We don't know. They don't.
I mean, we may have encountered the people. Who knows?
I've met dozens of agents over the past 20 years. Do you know how many of them have been condemned to psychiatric facilities at my advice? And there's one other thing. Don't make a big deal of it. Especially don't tell Miranda. But I found a design while I was in the apartment of a machine, and it was on a napkin from here 20 years ago. I didn't catalog it. I didn't mean to hide technical stuff. I know that's kind of her thing. It just didn't seem important at the time, and I don't know, who knows, something else must have been going on. But it was drawn on a napkin from here.
Jesus Christ. Did you hide anything else, man?
No. It must have been when the guy with the stuffed animal, or when you ran after him. I with everything going on, I just didn't think about it, and I found it like a week later when I was unpacking my stuff.
Do I get the idea that he's lying to me about not hiding anything else?
What's your human?
My human is 61.
Are you trying to be deceiving, Merchant?
Well, at this moment, Merchant may not be entirely sure of how much truth he's telling. He's not going to give out all the information of what he's been doing the past 20 years. So yes, he is deceiving him.
Yeah, I think that with the 60 plus, yeah, you're probably aware that there's something else here. But deceiving...
Yeah. I'm not even trying to get like super suspicious of him right now. I'm more just like, does Reed kind of like smell a little stinky?
Oh yeah.
When he says something.
Yeah, there is definitely more. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
At that point, the front door opens up. Meridian is trying to wipe the tzatziki sauce that has dripped down onto his shirt off with a napkin that's just kind of falling apart, and it's not going well. But he seems happier and fed. And Miranda, I suppose, is maybe lost in thought.
She has a couple bags of food in her arms, like the carry-away. She goes, "I got Thomas." And as she walks out, she walks over and idly says to Millstone, "Did I tell you I had to quit that? I was doing this playwriting thing and I had to quit because it got to be too much. But right before I did, this guy wrote something and I haven't ever been able to get it out of my head. And seeing it reminded me because it goes, at day all alms taken mount, Mill had no props, rail, chairs, hafts." And I remember it didn't make any fucking sense. The guy got torn apart for it, but I don't know. It made my skin crawl.
At about that point, you all glance over to Meridian, who has stopped working at the stain at the top of his shirt and has slowly and quietly unholstered his pistol. I'm taking some liberties here, but I'm pretty sure you're going to be okay with it in a moment. And has quietly unholstered his pistol and is holding it behind his leg so that's not visible from the street. You follow his gaze and you see that there is a very familiar figure that is across the street on kind of the playground area, and seems to be doing some kind of weed killing, or doing some kind of doing some work on the grounds. As you all look a little closer, there are more and more appearing of these people who are actively fumigating a playground at about 8:30, 45 p.m. The sun is down. But as you all kind of start to look around too, you see that they're at the edge of the parking lot that you parked in, or that your Uber parked in, and they're kind of just doing their own thing, fumigating with these old 1950s, 60s, very large gas masks and these very awkward big tank fumigation units. And they're all just doing their own thing, all fumigating, and more show up, and there's every so often one will kind of glance in your direction and just stop fumigating and will just stare at you. And in a matter of seconds, they're all stopped. They're all staring at you, or you think they are. They're gas masks you can't see through, but they're all looking at you. And at the same time, they all start to do this very low, humming sound. And it's got this rhythm to it, and it feels kind of like a chant. And you realize that after it's been happening 1 or 2 or 3 times, it's not just humming, they're saying words. And those words are, "There's a bug in the phone." And they just start running at you. All of them start running at you from all the angles. Maybe 20 or so of them just start running at the group from every different angle, all directions. You're not sure their intent, but they're sprinting at you. And it's scary. The sound of their boots.
Oh no.
Reed is going to say, we gotta go.
Yeah.
And immediately start booking it to the opposite corner of the parking lot. And as he's doing that, he's scanning for people getting into or out of their cars.
Yeah, you don't see anybody, but you do see a decent small little tree line, a kind of a very small park thing that's in between a couple of communities that you may be able to dip and hide and run into.
Are you guys following me?
100%.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. You book it for this little small kind of park tree area. I've got some shrubberies, and you all make it in. And as you kind of as you all roll stealth, which we'll find out the result next week, you hear the sound of their boots slowing to a stop, and the low drone of them saying that there is a bug in the phone. Next week, we'll see if you can hide good enough, or if you get fumigated.
Hell yeah.
Oh, nice.
Get fumigated.
It's good to have the team back together.
That's some good Rage Against the Machine shit right there. That's their song, Get Fumigated.
There's a bug in the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Put that on a shirt.
Before we sign off, I want to take a moment to talk about something very close to my heart. This podcast is about exploring darkness and fear, but in real life, those feelings can be overwhelming. I want to remind you that if you're feeling lost, lonely, or struggling, you don't have to face it alone. There are people who care about you and want to help. If you're in the US, you can call or text 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, for free, confidential support 24/7. Wherever you are, there are resources and there is hope. You matter and your story matters.